right, let's read. Can we be nerds for a second? Is that okay? Very interested in this. And let me just say this. All right. So when I make videos, my one goal is to entertain people. Period. That's it. Period. That's all I want to do. When I stream, when I make a video, it's to entertain people. Period. I I don't watch anybody else, and I probably wouldn't, to me, watching somebody else play video games is boring. I'll be 100% honest with you. It's boring to me unless that person is entertaining. And I could easily hop on here. I could easily turn on a game, and I can sit here and just put on some chill background music and just cruise and relax and play. I don't want to do that, though. I want people to want to watch me. I want people to be entertained when they watch me. That's why I act the way I do. That's why I do what I do. It's to entertain. When I get mad at something, I blow it out of proportion. When I'm happy about something, I blow it out of proportion. I exaggerate everything for the sake of entertainment. And sometimes you get caught up in the moment. Tonight, I was playing quick play, and it's frustrating, man. It is frustrating losing match after match after match after match. What's even more frustrating is that I feel like I'm not putting on a good show for you guys, and that's what makes me mad. Not that I'm losing, not that I'm not doing well, but that I'm not putting on a good show, and that's when I get mad. And that's why I act the way I act and do what I do, because I want to be entertaining, and I feel like when my team is shit in the bed, or we're not accomplishing what we need to accomplish, or do what we need to do, or fail, or whatever, then people go away. That's a sad reality. People will go away. So anyway, in the grand scheme of things, do you guys actually think that I act this way when I'm playing by myself, just whatever, or with my real life friends? Fuck no. Fuck no. It's to entertain you guys. And I'm not saying that for you guys to give me a pat on the back, but just know that everything I do is to entertain you guys. When I talk shit about hunters, I may piss a lot of people off, but there's going to be a lot of people that smile and laugh at what I say. When I talk shit about the game, I've had a lot of people tell me, all you do is complain about the game. You mean point out the things that they need to fix? Sure. Yeah, and I don't apologize for that. There's nothing wrong with pointing out flaws in a game, because hopefully they'll fix them. If I didn't care about the game or didn't want to play the game, I wouldn't play the damn game. You don't hear me bitching about Red Dead Redemption 3, do you? No, because I don't give a fuck about that game. I love this game. I'm very passionate about this game. I'm very passionate to play this game, not just because I love Destiny, but because it's where I get to be with all of you guys. This is where I met you guys. This is where I hang out with you guys. This is where I interact with you guys. This is where I entertain you guys. And don't just run away when I play a different game. That I'm not saying that, but I love Destiny. And just like I said, I'm a huge fan of the WWE. SummerSlam was absolute shit. I hated it. I'm a huge fan of Metallica. Saint Anger was absolute shit. I hated it. As a huge fan, you're allowed to say you don't like something. That doesn't mean you're not a fan anymore. So I've had a lot of issues with Destiny, and they've worked on a lot of them. And a lot of those issues I have to change. One of the things that I've been saying lately is, number one, I don't want to complain about the game a lot. That's not entertaining. I know that, and I don't want to do that. So just know, if I'm yelling or frustrated or whatever, that's not what I want to be like. I want to be having a good time, and I want to be entertaining. That is my goal when I turn on stream and make a video, period. That being said, Destiny has been all over the place. It went from, Destiny 1 to through that cycle, and then we got Destiny 2, and that was almost like a reboot where we started over, and everybody has their own philosophy of what Destiny should be, but that doesn't mean that's what it's going to be. And that is something that I've been trying to wrap my head around and just come to terms with and go with that, right? Accept the game for what it is. So I've been hearing some things about this, and I'm going to read it with you guys. It may take a while, and if you want to come back, that's fine. But we're going to read this. We're going to talk about this, and if you guys want to ask some questions, I'll answer it. But I'm going to put I'm gonna put the entertainment aspect to the side for a little bit, and we're just gonna talk. We're just gonna, talk about something that we love together. All right. First of all, I like this. I do like that this is Luke Smith. I do like that he's doing this. It needs to happen. It needs to happen more though, and that's part of the problem with Destiny. Is everybody, like I started to say, everybody has their own ideas of what Destiny should be. That doesn't mean that's what it's going to be. And there's nothing better than hearing from the people that actually make Destiny and say, here's what we have in mind. Here's what we want. Here's what we have planned. All right. We set up a calendar of content, showed you the plan early, and delivered it. I would agree. A lot of you love Destiny for the chase on the way to improving your characters. Between the annual pass drops, quest lines, and events in between, the team did a great job providing stuff to do, items to chase, growing fat with strength, etc. Destiny history has had many content droughts, but not this year. I would agree, and let me just say, I was there for the days in between after House of Wolves and in between Rise of Iron, and the league that we did came about because there was nothing to do. Now, again, Destiny is a game of extremes. Now there's almost too much to do, and you can't put the game down like this whole Solstice of Heroes grind that everybody's doing. There's always busy work to being done. My own personal thoughts about that, I'll talk about that later. I want to keep reading. Season of the Drifter thoughts, part 1. I like Gambit Prime. It felt like a great refinement of Gambit to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Well, it's funny you should say that. I'll say this on record. I absolutely love Gambit, and I hate that it's such a shit show. There, I said it. When Gambit first came out, I loved it. The thought of Gambit, I still love. However, I feel like it's a complete mess right now. That includes Gambit Prime. That is regular Gambit and Gambit Prime. I don't know. In chat, feel free. If you guys want to throw out your thoughts in the chat while we talk. Do you like Gambit Prime? Do you like Gambit? Yes or no? Type in the chat. Do you like Gambit? Do you like Gambit Prime? Or do you hate both? Matches end quicker, so it feels more efficient. The invading frequency feels lower. That's a lie. That is 100% a lie. Again, a lot of this is based off of personal experience too. So he says matches are quicker, it feels more efficient, the invading frequency feels lower. Sure. I mean, it depends who you're playing against and who you're playing with. So I can collect and dunk. I think there's something cool about the roles, although the requirements to get a full set online to inhabit a role meant not enough folks got to appreciate the playstyle diversity. I still don't have a full set of armor. Why? Because the Reckoning is bullshit, and I hate it. It was annoying, and it was bullshit. In the future, we're going to have to make a choice. Which Gambit is the Highlander of Gambits? Prime or Classic? This isn't just about removing stuff from Destiny 2, but the game cannot grow infinitely forever. It's about focusing refinements and evolutions to the Gambit ecosystem. We think Gambit is sweet and deserves more ongoing support. We want to ultimately focus on that support on whichever mode ends up being the Highlander. There can be only one. Maybe this means that they're going to make some sort of competitive Gambit. And if that is my own, and here, chat, and if I'm going to post this to YouTube, listen, it's okay to disagree with me. Contrary to some little kids out there that think you're not allowed to disagree with me, you're totally allowed to disagree with me. Just don't be a shithead about it. That's all. That's common sense, people. You can totally disagree with me. My own opinion is I like regular Gambit. I like stock Gambit the way it first came out. I like regular Gambit. 3 rounds. Take off Mayhem on the 3rd round. That shit's bullshit. And adjust portals. There's too many pity portals. I don't even mind the OP weapons. Take away the butthole. The butthole is stupid. I don't like the butthole. In case you didn't know, that's the meatball for the malfeasance that we have politely nicknamed the butthole. Regular Gambit, 3 rounds, normal rounds. Take away Mayhem. That's stupid. Stop Stop giving catch-up mechanics to Gambit. That bothers the hell out of me. If a team is good enough, let them win because they're good enough. Don't give catch-up mechanics and pity portals to try and give the other team a chance and blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. I'm not saying to take away the pity portals, but there's some adjusting. They are too frequent. That being said, I do not like Gambit Prime. Here's why I do not like Gambit Prime. I don't like when a boss is immune. I just don't like that mechanic. That is me personally. I hate the immune phase. It's boring to me. It's boring that no matter how good your team is, you cannot one-phase that boss because there's a mechanic in place to stop that from happening. I don't like that mechanic. I don't like it in the raids. It's stupid to me. It's a pause. It's a catch-up mechanic to give the other team time to try and catch up. I don't like that. That's why I can't stand Gambit Prime. I don't care if the match lasts 2 minutes. It's quick as hell, and it's over really quick. It's just dumb to me. I don't like the immune phase on the boss. Spawn a bazillion ads to try and kill me. Make it hard as hell, sure. But don't make the boss immune. I don't like that. That's just me. You can disagree with me. It's okay. Anyway, so if I were to make hopefully they're talking about making maybe a possibly competitive Gambit. First of all, no matchmaking. My opinion, Gambit should not have matchmaking. Your shitty teammates will ruin the match for you. We've proved in a video that one bad teammate can throw an entire match. The other 3 people can try as hard as they want. One bad teammate can force a team to lose. That's bad. So make it like trials. No matchmaking. You have to have a team. You go in there, and it's team versus team. People can LFG if they want. And, it worked for trials. And then people can do carries. And then people can do their streams and put some sweet rewards for whatever the equivalent of flawless is in Gambit. I don't know. But hopefully they make a competitive mode out of it. Hopefully it's the original, 3 rounds, and no matchmaking. Bring your own team. Anything else? Any other ideas? Can't think of them off the top of my head. Season of the Drifter thoughts, part 2, aka let's talk about the Reckoning. Terrible. I didn't like it. First time I used Phoenix Protocol at home, I knew it was over. It's an exotic coat that refills my Well of Radiance and then refills itself as I slay so that I can continue to place my Well of Stand here to be borderline invulnerable and deal tons of damage. Dado has a great video that talks about that Well of Radiance effect on the PvE game. Didn't watch the video, but I have my own thoughts about this. First of all, I can agree to this, the super of Stand Here Next to Me, but I don't blame the exotic. I blame the design. And this might be me asking too much of the developers, but name a raid or an encounter where the boss or whatever doesn't stand still. A raid. Let's stick with raids. So, Vault of Glass, Atheon, or Atheon. He walks around, but when it's time to do damage, he's standing still. Crota walks around, but when it's time to do damage, he's standing still. Actually, in House of Wolves, whatever that dude's name, big-ass fallen guy that everybody shot Galahorn at first, he walked around, and Well of Radiance would not work against Prison of Elder dude. Skolas, yes, thank you, Sly. Skolas. Skolas would immediately nullify what he just said about Well of Radiance. The problem for me, and I didn't watch the video, but the problem for me is how they design these encounters. A stationary target for DPS. Every single one, except Skolas. Every single one, when it's time to do DPS, let's go on. Wrath of the Machine, when you get to Axis, he teleports, but once you stun him, he's standing still. Then he teleports, and then he's standing still. Let's move on to Destiny 2. We've got, Taken King. We've got Oryx. He moves around, but when you stun him, standing still for the damage phase. Destiny 2, you've got Leviathan. You've got the foreskin dude. You move from plate to plate to plate, but once again, standing still. Well of Radiance would work in every single position, everywhere you go if you had it. What's the next raid? We got Argos, standing still for DPS. That's why I made the comment a while ago. You could replace the boss in most of these raids with a picture of a brick wall, because you're just shooting a stationary target, a brick wall, or a bullseye. Just make the boss a bullseye. Just a floating bullseye, because that's all you're doing. Argos, standing still. Then we go to Spire of the Stars. Big Cabal dude on a stage, standing still. Then we go to Last Wish. So the Last Wish, the first encounter, where the doors open up underneath her, standing still. Second encounter, when you run the gauntlet and you stun her with the seeds and the almonds, standing still. Third encounter, where you shoot Morgath, the Zit Ogre, standing still. Then after that, you have the bank with the symbols. Then after that, you have Riven, who is, say it with me, everybody, standing still. Then you move on to Scourge of the Past, and you fight the mech guy. And guess what? When you stun him, guess what happens? He stands still. And then you move on to the next raid, the most recent raid so far, which is Crown of Sorrow. And you've got the three giant foreskin dudes, and guess what? Guess what they're doing, everybody? Guess what? They're standing still. Okay, so I think you get the point. So as much as I can agree that Well of Radiance, see, I don't look at it as dumb, though. I don't look at Well of Radiance as something that's dumb and ruins the game. It's like, Weapons of Light. Well of Radiance is the same thing as Weapons of Light. How come nobody was complaining about Weapons of Light? Weapons of Light in D1. It's the same thing. It's just the view is different. Instead of it being a bubble, it's a circle on the ground. But see, when you played it, you knew you needed a Weapons of Light. It was just something you needed. So why all of a sudden is Well of Radiance such a problem? It's not. I don't think Well of Radiance is a problem. I completely, wholeheartedly disagree. Well of Radiance is not a problem in PvE. Is it necessary? 100% yes. But so was a Tether at times. So was a Bubble Titan at times in D1. So is some of the other supers. Well of Radiance, shit. If I don't have Well of Radiance, am I even using a Warlock? What are my other options? Throw a Slova? Anyway, I don't think Well of Radiance is a problem. I think the encounters are. It's probably too hard to design a moving encounter. Maybe it is. Maybe that's why they don't do it. Maybe that's why we have the same type of encounters, but they all stand still. So what you could do is Skolas, he moved around. Well of Radiance is completely nullified if you have a boss or an activity like that. Switch it up. I've always said, and even when they said Galahorn was too OP for Destiny 1, I wholeheartedly disagreed with that shitty statement too, because it was something to chase after. It's something that people loved. When they got it, it was a reward. It felt fulfilling. It was the white whale. And if you don't want people to use Galahorn, don't put Solar Burn. Put an Arc Burn. Guess what? Again, going back to Skolas, when it was Arc Burn, nobody used Galahorn, because it'd be stupid to use a solar weapon on Arc Burn for Prison of Elders. So anyway, give people reasons to use something else. Don't just nerf the whole subclass just because. Those are my thoughts. So this I think is completely narrow-minded. This whole thing right there. I wondered, how are we ever going to make content that fairly challenges players again? I just told you. With Reckoning and Season of the Drifter, we got a taste of what kind of content we'd need to build to challenge protocol-wearing warlocks. Match-made encounters that cost you from all directions. No, that's not going to make me move out of my well. Plant snipers off in the distance. Nope, that's not going to make me move out of my well. And put players in between a pincher attack of many whelps. Handle it. I wanted to link a thing here, but it's definitely not T for teen. And giant bosses And also FU Night Taken Guy. So he's still talking about the reckoning. I would say FU Ogre that shot you off the map. But yet, this whole activity was terrible and I hated it, in my opinion. I hated that whole reckoning activity. Whether I was on a Well of Radiance, whether I was on a tether. I mean, how come nobody's bringing up tethers here? Orbs for days, tethering everything nonstop with the boots. In reckoning, I mean, hell, we weren't on Well of Radiance. We had one Well of Radiance, but then we were mainly using Skull of Ahara to destroy everything and make constant orbs with the tether. Again, this is a distraction. This is not an issue. In Reckoning, we set out to build an activity that could be relatively easy at Tier 1 and scale up to very challenging at Tier 3. We have an internal team here codenamed Velveeta. They were formed in the wake of the Crota's End modem unplugging debacle to help find the cheesiest things to do use in challenging PvE portions of the game. These players are some of our craftiest. Once Velveeta can get close to beating something or beat it outright, that becomes an important data point on our is this hard enough evaluation. That's cool. I'm glad that they have a team named Velveeta, first of all. And I'm glad that they do this. I wish that they would reach out to players more in the community. Maybe they do, and I just don't know about it. Reach out. If you don't, though, definitely reach out to people because until you said something, we would have never known that there was a Team Velveeta because people in the community are doing shit, cheesing shit left and right. We don't want to spawn enemies behind the player. Crucible would like to say hello. I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute. We want players to play a game of taking space from enemies. Immune Gambit. We use dropships, spawn clouds, audio cues, and all kinds of tricks to try and prepare players for reinforcements. This right here, like it really is amazing how the cool stuff they do in this game. Audio cues and all this kind of stuff. Huge fan. If you want to nerd out on that kind of stuff, I am supremely impressed. This is one of the reasons why I love the game so much. The design that they do in this section, a lot of it, they don't even talk about physics or gunplay or any of that stuff, but the sound cues, all that kind of stuff. This game is top notch in those categories. They created, basically, this paragraph says they created a monster and they didn't know what to do about the monster. Last note, I think it's totally sweet when an activity challenges you to use something other than your favorite item. I don't think the whole game should work that way, but when it's time to bust some shields on the Shanks in 0 hour, I had a use for that distant relation scout rifle in my vault. I would love if they focused on how can we get people to use other things instead of that's just they don't do a good enough job of that, in my opinion. I mean, we busted out hard light for the raid and stuff, but there's a lot of sweet, to use his word, sweet loot. There's a lot of sweet stuff in Destiny that is sitting in my vault. I mean, I would love to use some of this stuff that's just sitting here, and I don't have a reason to. But here's why. We ask the media to play the game on Heroic because when the game is challenging, overcoming the challenge feels incredible. I have based my entire YouTube channel off of this one phrase. Challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge. And I've lately had to throw a lot of that away because I can't, because of stuff like One-Eyed Mask and stuff. So they say that, but yet do the opposite. Important to note here, challenge isn't something universal. In an action game, challenge can be largely personal. One person's challenging might be easy to someone else. We've historically thought about the main Destiny campaigns as something we want to be pretty easy. I think D2's campaign was actually too easy at times. The Gaul is the worst. And as players push further into post-game, they'd be able to find more challenge. Across Destiny's history, we haven't had enough challenge deep into the end game, and that's definitely something on our list as we head toward fall 2019. Overcoming challenges is a huge part of what makes an action game's moment-to-moment engaging. Action games are a delicate balance of growing stronger, the game rising up to push back, introducing new challenges that force you to learn, become more powerful, master a new element, and, at their best, creating the fist-pumping moment of celebration when you achieve victory. Destiny has an RPG component too, and the RPG component is about customization, optimization, and it's a way for players to choose how they overcome challenge. The entire time we've been making Destiny, the action game and the RPG have been fighting. True dat. I agree. It's the forever war. Yes. And that's why everybody has been saying, what is Destiny? Is Destiny an RPG? Is it an MMO? Is it an FPS? Nobody knows what Destiny is because these guys are confused too. They didn't know what they wanted it to be. The RPG has the power to dramatically overcome the action game, and the action game has the power to render the RPG game irrelevant. It's a line by nature Destiny will always have to straddle. Yes. Or there's solutions to that, but go on. In order to create challenge during Season of the Drifter, we need to break a bunch of encounter rules. Have exotics like Phoenix Protocol basically function like a key or hope you match with multiple Radiance Warlocks, which then unlocks success in the match-made encounters of the Reckoning. There's a really good video from Slayer Age on this in the context of the nerfs we made heading into Season of Opulus. I wonder how often I'm mentioned in this. I wonder how often am I? Nope. No. Oh, that's I thought this was gonna be my day. Nope. Those nerfs also saw Whisper of the Worm get his day in court. If I could turn back time, we'd probably not run Whisper as the original Black Hammer infinite ammo design. However, considering the year before had Destiny 2 feeling very restrictive and power limited, I think we did the best that we could with the knowledge and intuition we had last summer. Whisper was an outlier that lets you stand still at a safe distance in a pool that makes you borderline invulnerable, never having to reload or relocate for ammo. And allow players to deal piles and piles of damage on giant bosses who aren't threatening. There's the stand still mechanic that I had mentioned, shooting at the wall. This isn't your fault. It's ours. Thank you. YouTube, they agreed. They agreed with me. It's okay. You can come back. I see. See, it's not just a complaint. It's a critique. This isn't your fault. It's ours. We're making some stuff too easy and allowing players to circumvent parts of the game. Mechanics that circumvent the ammo game, relocate to pick up ammo bricks, or completely ignore the reload animations, critical part of weapon tuning, are mechanics that create the kind of outliers that we ultimately have to tamp down before game spirals into the boss health version of Reckoning Bridges. Or you give us heavy ammo synths. Heavy ammo synths. A lot of this complaining, a lot of this stuff wasn't in D1. Another significant set of changes we made to the game during this time were taking down the super snowball exotics. With as powerful as Destiny supers have become, they are, on the whole, dramatically more powerful than Destiny 1 supers. Yes. Using your super to recover your super is an amplification of player power that the challenge and difficulty game can't keep up with, but we're going to talk about supers much later on. I had mentioned back, so Destiny 2, when it first came out, you were weak as shit. It was too slow. It was too boring. It was, the 4 versus 4, everything. It was just lame. And people were just like, buff everything, buff it all, buff everything. You guys gotta understand, there's always an extreme. Too little, too much. Too little is too bad. Too much is too bad. They're both bad. You want to find the sweet spot. And even in a game like Destiny, when you're always going to have something, the meta or something overpowered, that's fine. That's always going to be there. But you still got to find the sweet spot so that you still have these rewarding and challenging. Overcoming the challenge feels incredible. Well, when things are too easy, you just took away the challenge. That's been my number one rant about Destiny, is it's too easy. Whether it's Crucible with one-eyed mask and all the meta stuff going on, the pinnacle weapons and stuff. You dumb down the game, you take away this feeling of incredible. Seventh column, all that kind of stuff. When I'm running around the map with my super lasting forever and I'm killing 14 players with one super, I have no feeling of accomplishment because it's too easy. And when they had said they were going to turn up the dial, remember, everybody applauded, standing ovation, and I was like, no, that's not what you want. You don't want to make things too powerful. I hope that they find the sweet spot. I hope this whole thing is going to lead to them finding the sweet spot. I really do. If they don't, I'm still going to play the game. I'm still going to love the game. I'm going to accept the game for what it is. But if I had my choice, if they want my opinion, it would be, this is what I love. Overcoming the challenge feels incredible. I live for that. You guys just saw me play how many Crucible games? Because I couldn't win a damn match solo. I couldn't quit. I couldn't quit because I to overcome. I'm stubborn, yes. Strong-willed, what were you guys saying in the chat? Bullheaded, strong-willed, stubborn, all that kind of stuff, yes. But it became a challenge, and I hate quitting on a challenge. A lot of that challenge has gone away in Destiny because they amped up so much. And I hope that this is them saying, just so you guys know, we're going to dial back the knob just a little bit so that it's going to be more challenging, which in turn is going to be more rewarding, which equals feeling incredible. You guys remember watching Trials? People play Trials. You remember people just like good players just showing that they were good players, and not just, now it's more about, well, he's not that good. He just has an OP loadout, or he just has this, or he just has that. Really hope they get away from that. Everybody, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everybody has site redesigns, and everybody hates it. That's just, I don't know why they're like, guys, Bungie, you guys shouldn't be upset about harsh feeling feedback. You're in a no-win situation. When you change something that people are used to, they're going to hate it. That's okay. Like the great Macho Man once said, you don't have to like it, you just have to accept it. That's all this is. This is just do what you need to do to make the game work, period. Should I even read this? Honestly, I could care less about couldn't care less about Eververse either. Do what you need to do. I'm going to skip Eververse. My biggest problem with Eververse is fucking Tess Everest, man. Get her out of there or shut her up or give me the option to mute her or shoot her. That's all I want. That's all I want. If you don't get anything else out of this entire diatribe, let it be known Tess Everest needs to shut her damn mouth. Oh boy, you can buy stuff faster. This is the gift shop in the exit. You can't pass it. Cosmetic items like universal ornaments, weapon ornaments, shaders, ships, sparrows, emotes, and finishers typically come from the store. I am super excited and curious about finishers. Don't fail me. Don't let me down. You see the difference with me being normal and then me being just a little bit entertaining? This is a raise in volume. This is how I feel about Escalation Protocol. Once I had the feeling of running around in public bubbles, fighting giant bosses with a bunch of players, even though getting into a good instance of Mars for Protocol was a pain in the butt, public gameplay never felt the same. At its peak, when you have a bunch of players slaying big old bosses, Escalation Protocol is one of the best things we've added to Destiny 2. I would agree. Escalation Protocol was amazing. I loved it. I didn't want any of it to change. It's a shame that they let it die. I love it. To this day, I love it. If they added a new weapon to it and increased the difficulty, I'd play the shit out of it again. That was some of the most fun we ever had, was grinding for the Escalation Protocol shotgun, which they eventually nerfed, which I still use, by the way. I have a video called Please Nerf Sparkles, and it was so much fun doing Escalation Protocol. Blind Well, meh, second best. That was fun. But it's a shame that they let those insanely good encounters or whatever you call them, things to do die. The Menagerie, a 6-player match-made activity where you make progress no matter what, is awesome. I disagree. How many guys have you guys done the Menagerie? Do you guys keep doing the Menagerie? Let me ask you that. Let me ask you guys. Do you guys still do the Menagerie? First of all, there was a couple things that happened. One, you could farm the chest. You could get some really sweet guns or God roll guns or whatever, or close to it. All right. Then they patched that and made it to where you could only get the chest once. I'll tell you what. After I got my gun in Menagerie, after I got the recipe and got what I needed, I stopped doing it. And I didn't care about it. And it became tedious. In theory, it sounds good. That's another event, another thing like Escalation Protocol. I think the potential is there, but it got left in the dust. I think with a little TLC, with a little love and care, tender love and care, I think Escalation Protocol, Blindwell, Menagerie, I think those things could bring them back on a regular basis. Just update the loot pool, just update the power required to complete them, the difficulty, amp it up, change out bosses and different things. They could totally recycle that content, reuse it. But Menagerie got old quick to me. I stopped liking it right away. It sounded good in theory, and I don't know if it was just because it was the same old shit and I hated the Leviathan raid and I felt like I was right back there, or if it was the fact that most of it, if not, what he said right here really bothered me. You make progress no matter what. And I remember when I played Menagerie for the first time and I was excited to play it and I thought we were going to fail an encounter and somebody said, no, we just go to the next one. You can't fail. The timer just runs out. My bubble instantly got popped, deflated. That's the word that summed up how I felt right then and there. Completely deflated. Again, challenging. It was not, you took away the challenge. You took away the challenge and the feeling of accomplishment just with that one statement. You completed no matter what. Why? Why? Anyway. Failure is okay, people. You don't get better without failure. It's okay to fail things so that you can learn what to do to succeed. If you give people T-ball, then they're never going to get better at hitting because it's a constant low bar to be setting. You got to fail at things to get better at things. It's just how it works. Don't be afraid of telling people, hey, you failed. Drifter even says, your team sucks when you lose. Anyway, by the way, let me just stop real quick. I did look over at the chat. It looks like a lot of you are saying you don't play Menagerie anymore. If it was fun content, people would want to go back. The chalice isn't perfect. I agree. Being held hostage by the rune you want to drop from a strike or crucible. Let me show you something as we're talking about the chalice. Let me show you something real quick here. I play Destiny almost daily. I have hundreds and thousands of hours into this game. I am a professional video game player, esports superstar, your hopes and dreams, the man, the myth, the legend, badass gaming, a national treasure, and a global icon. And I don't have my chalice complete. I'm not the average player, right? The average player looks at my screen and they're like, holy shit, how do you have all of this? Because I play more than you. And when I critique the game, when I play the game, I always try to think of it from different standpoints. I play more than others. My experiences are not your experiences. Your experiences are not my experiences. But I try to have experience with everybody's experience. So when I play Crucible, I don't get a stacked team. I get whoever I want. I get friends. I get randoms. I go in solo. I try to do the complete Destiny experience. And you would think that me of all people would have a complete chalice. I don't. You would think me of all people would have a full set of Gambit armor. I don't. Why should I do this stuff? Didn't feel rewarding to me. I stopped caring about it when I was getting killed with a one-eyed mask and a Jotun. Stopped caring about it with the recluse. Do you get the recluse? Do you get the recluse from the chalice? Let me look. Let me look to see if I can create a recluse or a one-eyed mask from this, or a bottom tree striker. Oh wait, no. See, the ecosystem that they're talking about with this game, it all ties together. If it's a domino effect, if you have some issues in different places, it's going to affect quality of life in other places as well. But having more ways in the game to pursue loot in deterministic fashion while preserving the hunt for a great role is something that we hope to explore. I said this back in Destiny 1. I'll say it again now. And I got hate. I got a lot of hate for it. But I missed the screen at the end of a Crucible match that seemed like a... when you go to the casino and you pull the slot machine lever, RNG... You can hate RNG all you want. It keeps people coming back. There's a reason why people play the lottery. There's a reason why people go to casinos. RNG is a mechanic that is great for replayability. And I know you probably hate it. I know you hate it. But you don't have a Gallarhorn drop moment anymore in this game. Because everything now is just... do your job, get your paycheck. Bitch better have my money. That's what this game has become now. It has sucked the excitement out of an awesome drop. And I really miss that. I don't expect that to come back. I think that's dead forever in this game. Borderlands is coming out. You're going to have RNG drops in that game, and people are going to lose their shit for, you know... the drop. They're going to farm bosses for drops. Diablo, you farm. Other games, you farm. Can name names of other games. Destiny, you used to farm for that drop. I'm as much as I like doing a quest to get a weapon, or completing a bounty to get a weapon, or whatever. This sucks a lot of the fun out of the game for me with RNG going away. I miss that exciting moment of the lottery ticket hitting it big. I miss that. That's just me. This right here is super interesting, and can really and probably and definitely will change a lot about the game and how it's played. I see a good future for Destiny 2. Yeah, I mean Destiny 2 is Star Wars, right? They can make a bad movie and people will always come back because they love it. Destiny will always have a passionate fan base, and that's a good thing. Like I said, I will probably always play the game until it stops. It's okay for people to have a difference in opinions. You can love something and somebody else can hate it. That's okay. That's okay. That's why there should be something to do for everybody. That being said, if there's a problem that is causing that could work better, then why not talk about it, you know? People have been hating on me recently for complaining about the game. Some of it is me just being entertaining. You need to get a personality and realize what's a joke and what's not a joke. I mean, I talk about if I say, like somebody pointed out, I yelled in a Rumble match, they're teaming up against me and there's your teammate and they're like, it's Rumble. It's every man for themselves. Yeah, that's the joke. Also, hold on. You guys said that they were going to do something with Tess. I never saw anything about Tess Everest. I want to be able to fight her. That's what I want. Let me fight her. I want a 1v1 Tess. Make her super hard, and if I win, then I get a reward, like an exotic emote. Make her, like, really shitty. I mean, even Gambit. Gambit has the potential to be completely awesome. And so many people are so frustrated with it. And this is not even counting or talking about all the pinnacle quests that they've got going on that then ruins players' experiences. I didn't see any of that being brought up in that thing. Maybe they'll talk about it later. But the busy work and the jobs that they make everybody do, there's a problem with that. And I know people don't like me criticizing or bringing that up, but that is a problem with this game right now, is the bounty system in how it makes people play the game. It makes people throw games. It makes people play when they don't want to. It makes people hate the game. It makes people hate their teammates. There's a lot going on there that people don't realize. The bounty system in PvP is an issue. Are there ways to fix it? Sure. Is it broken? No. Is it a problem everywhere? No. But it ruins a lot of things. And Gambit is one of those places. Comp is one of those places.